The world population will probably peak at around the year 2055, and then it will start decreasing. We have never seen this in our history as a species, not even during wars, not even during epidemics. We don't really know how a society with constant population decreases is going to look like. Japan is the canary in the island. Japan was a country where fertility dropped before any other country in the world, and where it has been experienced already a population decrease for many, many years. And what we have seen is that the Japanese economy has stagnated. In fact, if you control for demographics, Japan economy has been doing okay. Everything is just demographics. And what I have argued in much of my research is that the future of the planet will look a lot like Japan's today. Thus, what we need to do is look at the type of policies that Japan has implemented or failed to implement and adapt ourselves to get ready for what is coming. Unfortunately, most governments are going to face a very tight budget constraint in terms of how to finance their retirement systems and their healthcare systems. And that will probably require painful adjustments. Part of them will probably include increasing retirement age, and what we want to do is think about ways in which we can do it to maximize everyone's utility and to be sure that we take care of the less fortunate or those who really need our help. Macroeconomics historically has not paid enough attention to aging and demographics more in general. In fact, this has been one of my main topics of research, trying to convince the profession otherwise. Fortunately, I think that we as a profession, economists, have been thinking about that quite a bit over the last 20 years. And what we now need to do is convince the rest of the profession that we can handle these issues, at least theoretically and empirically, and really put it at the forefront and, convince the deans and chancellors of the universities that this is a first order problem and that they need to finance us. There are two main priorities for policymakers and researchers to prepare society for this demographic change. Priority number one is to understand why fertility has fallen so much, even in countries like the United Kingdom, where fertility was already very low. For instance, the total fertility rate in the UK right now, the average number of children that a woman has is 1.44, when it used to be around 1.8, 1.9, not that many years ago. And my suspicion is that at this moment the real concern is that many families cannot have the number of children they will like. Housing is very expensive, education is not satisfactory, etc. So what can we do to help these families to have the number of children they want? The second thing that we need to worry a lot and think about better ways to organize is how to help societies to be more friendly towards older people. So for instance, something I have been very keen on is thinking about designing what sometimes is called soft exits from the labor market. What I mean is, instead of going from working 40 hours a week, which is very costly for some people, to 0 hours after you retire, maybe going from 40 hours to 20 hours, and maybe in jobs that are less stressful, and yet they are very satisfying for people. And I think that that's an absolute top priority for all of us.